Hello, dreamers. Perla here, as always. Thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel. And if you haven't done so, go ahead and do so. We would love to have you. So this is the weekly collective reading. Take a breath, my love. Take a deep breath. Alrighty. The beginning of the week. I'm looking at something. I'm like, you better not fall off the dresser. Sorry. But that's kind of like where the energy is. There is some type of conversation, argument, or something that you are in the midst of. And you're being asked not to get ungrounded. You're being asked to stand your ground. You're being asked to go back to your practices, to whatever it is that you have been doing in order to learn how to manage certain triggers. Now, there's something very beautiful about this week, and it's the fact that I know you guys are gonna, some of you are gonna hate this, but you're going to be able to put into practice whatever it is that you have been working on, whatever it is that you have been healing, however it is that you have been managing certain situations. Now, as I say that, there's a reminder here that for some of you, that is going to be learning to pick your battles, having the discernment as to what it is that you are going to engage with and what you're not going to engage with. For others of you, is allowing your voice to be heard. A lot of you have put yourself in situations or in positions where you silence yourself because you think that if you silence yourself, you somehow have won something. You somehow have overcome the cycle. And then you see, like 6 months down the line, you're in the same freaking position because you were never meant to stay silent. Discernment. Discernment is going to be your biggest ally this week. And the thing here is that no matter what anybody is telling you, no matter what anybody's trying to convince you of, you're going to have to rely very, very heavily on your own intuition and your own discernment as to how to handle certain situation. Now, why is it that it's coming in this way? There's something big that is moving through your energies. There's some type of big there's some type of big change that is moving. Now, for some of you, this is going to be career-wise, like something taking off. For others of you, this is just internally within yourself. Like there's a shift, right? There is an awareness, an awakening, a leveling up, however it is that you want to word it. For others of you, this is going to be in your finances, seeing an influx in your finances, seeing an influx in relationship. But there's a major shift that is happening. But in order for this shift to happen and to anchor itself in, you're going to have to, and I hate to use this word, but this is the way that it's coming through. You're going to have to prove that you are ready to take it. You are ready to handle it, however that means. Now, for those of you that are challenged or are usually you usually don't like confrontation, you don't like a disagreement, you don't like the back and forth dialogue, not necessarily an argument, but there's something here about like confrontation where you have an issue with confrontation. That is where the main energy is going to be focused, where it doesn't matter who you're talking to, there seems to be just confrontation after confrontation. And this is a way for you to practice how to use your voice, for you to practice how to stand up for yourself. That is really the only reason the energy is here. Now, a lot of the times, like I honestly, like every time I sit down to do a reading or whatever, like my intention is always like, okay, let's be as clear as possible and let's break it down into a space where I'm not making things sound like, oh, wooey and oh my God, it's so magical and so everything, because spirituality and living from your spirit space, from your spirit self, is something that we can all do, right? It is something that if we learn how, for some of us, and I you know, I understand that, like I've been able to do this since I was a child and I get it, but I still had to learn how to trust myself within these spaces, right? Especially because I didn't go out to learn anything from anyone. So it's almost kind of like you're learning this week how to listen to your own intuition and how to trust it when it comes to how to handle certain situation. Again, it's almost kind of like you're right here, right? You're right here, and behind you, there's all this other thing that want, like all of these blessings, all of these miracles, however you want to word them, that want to burst through. But in order for them to burst through, it's like you have to actively speak up, whether it is about learning how to speak things into existence or learning how to stand up for yourself. Now, there seems to be like, I'm trying to move away from romance or anything that has to do with romance, but it keeps on like circling around. So we are going to address it. There was a relationship that you decided to distance yourself from. This can be platonic, but I'm picking it up mainly romance. There was a relationship that you decided to end because there was a third party interference. Now, this third party, again, doesn't necessarily have to be another person. It can be somebody putting their job or whatever it is in front of you. But this person is circling back around. They're coming in surface level looking, I need to pay attention to that, looking like they have done the work, looking like they're really ready to commit. My love, this is nothing more than one of those distractions so that you don't continue on. Whether this is a financial breakthrough, whether this is a spiritual breakthrough, whether this is a physical breakthrough, whatever breakthrough you're in the right in the like, oh, you're like right there, like right there. Like that little threshold is like right there. Like you're at the finish line, right? You're right there. It's like you can see it, you can taste it. And it's like this person from the past is like, hey, Perla. And it's like you're being asked, like, don't even look back. Like just keep going forward. Do not engage if you don't feel like you can stand your ground with this individual. Yeah. Um, Again, for some of you, this is going to be the perfect time to put into practice whatever triggers are surrounding this person. And not proving to anybody other than yourself that you can now handle yourself within those triggers without allowing them to overtake. And one of the things that I really want to point out is that spirituality in itself, it's not about avoiding or not feeling. It's not about never getting angry. It's not about never getting upset. It's not about anything of that matter. It is about learning to regulate yourself. And when I say regulate yourself, is that if an emotion arises, you're able to feel it without allowing it to take over, without allowing it to take the driver's seat, right? And you're able to be like, okay, I feel that. Now, how do I handle this? And that is exactly what is happening this week, or at least what is trying to happen this week. Now, the thing is, and I'm going to be real with you guys, because, you know, the whole point here is for everybody to grow, right? For everybody to evolve, so everybody to get to a place where they can be like, yeah, this is me, and I can show up as myself no matter what. And the thing is here, my love, is that some of you are still very much in the space of wanting some type of, it's almost kind of like some of you are wanting to wake up and be like, oh yeah, I woke up today and I have no more triggers and no more pain and no more this and no more that. And it's like, do you understand that that's where the beauty of everything is? That is where the mastery of yourself is. When those triggers appear, when the pain, when the hurt, when the disappointment, all of these things are pointing to things within you that you just have to accept that live there, that you have to learn to integrate into whom it is that you want to be, who it is that you want to show up in this world as. And when you change, you shift that perception as to what are these things are, and you start owning them, you realize how to actually play the game. Now, it keeps on coming back. The other day I was like, I had the TV on for the dogs, and something came up, and Charmed, right? The Charmed sister. And I'm talking about the old, like the original, I shouldn't say all, the original one that we all grew up with. I have not seen an episode of the new one, so I can't speak on it. But with the original Charmed, they were three sisters. They were witches. They were born that way. Their gifts came out, whatever. And one of the things that I kept on going back to, like, as I'm doing this, and I'm like, okay, why am I going back to that show? They all allow themselves to have emotions. None of them were utterly positive. If anything, like Piper was a little like sketchy, like, she was kind of like always prepared for like the worst, right? And a lot of their gifts, a lot of what they were able to do was usually driven by initially by their emotions, right? Like if they were angry, that, oh, like they would freeze things, they were frustrated, they would blow up things. Like, so why is it that I'm saying that? I need you guys to stop being afraid of feeling. And instead, let's learn how to use those emotions, those feelings within ourselves in a way that is going to be constructive, in a way that is going to allow you to navigate life in a way that you want to, in a way to help you manifest the things that you want. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and let's see really quickly what is in the shadow space collective. What is in the shadow space collective? We're going to do 2 cards, 1 and 2. So go ahead and choose your card. So for those of you that chose card number 1, we have Peaceful Among Thorns, number 26. Now, I feel that this is for those of you that have been suppressing certain things. You have been trying to cater your life as to seeing, like being seen spiritually. Like, oh no, I have to be like super positive. If I let a negative thought come in my head, it's like, ooh, no, let's snap out of that. Okay, let's find that balance within yourself. And please, if that means that you need to take a time out from social media, if you need to take a time out from spiritual context coming from other people and maybe hit the books, and I'm saying hit the books because I have a bookshelf there, maybe that is the season that you're in. Maybe that is what the season is requiring. Okay. Okay. For those of you that chose card number 2, we have the artificial heart. You're denying yourself of your truth. You are denying yourself of who you really are. One of the things that I always like to say is manifestation can happen from any source of energy. Anger, jealousy, frustration, joy, etc., etc. But the thing here is learning or realizing how it is that if you manifest something out of anger or out of frustration, how do then you maintain it without staying within that energy? The same way that if you manifest something out of joy or happiness, then how do you maintain that line open when that joy or that happy moment has passed? And this is where, again, we talk about regulating yourself to a neutral state, being able that even if you're extremely happy or extremely angry, you're able to bring yourself back to neutral. And once you're able to regulate that, baby, you can use any energy you want to manifest anything that you desire. Alrighty, let's go ahead and let's see. Do we have anything else that the collective needs to know? Let's use the deck is not older than me, but it's getting there. It's a little older than 30 years. Deck. All right, let's go ahead. Yeah, about 30 years. Probably a little older. Alrighty, it is a family deck. All right. There's a theme here of like a lot of you have been constantly fighting yourself, meaning you have been somewhere along the line, and it's not just you. I feel like we all go down this path or this journey where healing becomes the main priority. And I'm not saying that healing shouldn't be the main priority. What I'm saying is our perception or our relationship with healing. Healing is not about removing or about excluding certain parts of yourself or about denying certain parts of yourself. Sometimes healing is just as simple as accepting that something happened, accepting, acknowledging that something made you feel some type of way. And that's it. And it can be released. So when you start to change your relationship with the perception of healing, I feel that you're going to start noticing how much of your life actually starts to change almost kind of like instantly. And when I say almost kind of like instantly, is because it is, again, like we're living in this reality and everything is happening in the spiritual realm before it comes to pass here. And I feel that a lot of you, when it comes to the spiritual realm, are in this space right now where you are allowing yourself to be okay with certain things. You are allowing yourself with being okay, not having to dissect everything that requires healing. And I'm doing it in quotations right away. For this season, it can be something as simple as like, oh, that person hurt me. And that may be all the healing that you need around that connection. And maybe 5 years from now, your body, your nervous system, your mind, your spirit is ready to go deeper into it. What I don't want you to do is to keep yourself stuck and like, I have to be perfect. I have to be 100% healed before I get out here. My love, the whole point is to have a human experience. It's not to rob you of one. Okay? Okay. Let's go ahead and let's see what is the closing message for the collective reading. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, sending the light, laying foundation, divine plan. Right? Plan, yeah. This is, you're not walking this, you're not walking this path on your own, is what I want to say. Everything is happening as it should be. And I feel that where it becomes an issue is when you want to go deeper, or you want to dig into spaces that Spirit is telling you we don't need to go there. That's not why I brought that up. And I feel like, you know, this thing of like you're constantly taking information in, and every once in a while, like if you think like every once in a while you need to take inventory of what you have up here, what is in alignment with you, what isn't, and what is no longer in alignment with you, you need to let that shit go. Instead of holding on to it. We have page 88. Let's see what the quick message is for this card. Anna, grandmother of Jesus, was an ancient mystic who dedicated her life to laying the foundation for Christ consciousness to be woven through all of life. She is not widely known, but without her, Christ consciousness would not be rising as it is today. Anna represents the quiet dedication that is sometimes required to live a life of service. She represents the generations that came before her that devoted their life to dreaming a new world into being, while knowing that they would not see the glorious end results. She represents the dutiful soldier, the unconditional mother, and the mystic who can see the thread that is woven through all of life. Anna teaches us that all have a part to play in the divine plan, excuse me. It doesn't have to be on the world stage to be significant. One person's part is not worthier than another. One person's part may not be, one person's part may be to mother their children. Another's may be to gather women in circle each month. No part is better or worse, more important or less significant. We each have within us a seed of light that we incarnate to share. Anna is gathering us all to remember and surrender to our part of the plan. And for a lot of you, again, you're super hyper focused on trying to show up as being spiritual or whatever, however it is you want to name it, instead of just allowing yourself to show up as yourself and realizing that spirituality is an aspect, a part of you, but it is not all of you, because you are also here living a human experience. That is all I have. Sending every single one of you love, strength, and blessing, guys. Take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.